Okay, so this will be our review for the final exam. There are 44 questions. I will go through them as swiftly as possible and show just as much work as I feel is necessary at this point. So question 1, we want to find the domain of log. So when you find the domain of log, you have to take what is inside, what is being evaluated inside of the log, and that part has to be greater than or equal to 0. So for this first question, x minus 2 has to be greater than 0. If we add the 2 over, we would get x is greater than 2. In interval notation, that means 2 to infinity in parentheses. So answer choice C would be best for number 1. Number 2, we want to list the possible rational zeros of the polynomial function, and the process for this problem was you take the constant term, which is 2, the one at the very back, that is on the top, and then you take the leading coefficient, 6, and that is on the bottom. We are going to factor both these numbers. So 2 will factor to 1 and 2. 1 times 2 will give you 2. 6, we can have 1 times 6, and we also get 2 times 3. In order to find the possible rational zeros, we need to take every number on top, divide by every number on bottom. So that is 1 divided by 1 will give us 1. 2 divided by 1 will give us 2. And then we do 1 divided by 2, which will give us 1/2. And then we do 2 divided by 2, which will give us 1. We already have it. 1 divided by 3 will give us 1/3. 2 divided by 3 will give us 2/3. 1 divided by 6 will give us 1/6. And 2 divided by 6 will reduce to 1/3, which we already have. So this is our list. We have to consider positive or negative whenever you're doing possible rational zeros. And I don't know why I put a curly bracket, but this would be our list of numbers. And as we look at the answered choices, it may not be in the same order that we have it. It looks like they go from smallest to largest. So 1/6, 1/3, 1/2. That's not enough fractions. We have 2/3 in there as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fractions, 1 and 2. So let's look for that. Looks like D. 1, 2, 3, 4 fractions, 1 and 2. So D would be the one that would match what we're looking for. Number 3, we want to find the slope intercept form of the equation of the line with these 2 points. So what they're giving us the slope, which is m equals 5. They're giving us the slope, and then they're giving us the y-intercept, the ordered pair 0, 6. When they give you the slope and the intercept, that's pretty much what you need. They're telling you slope intercept, they're telling you slope intercept form. So slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. So all we need to do is plug the 5 here and the 6 right there for our y-intercept. So slope intercept form, y equals 5x plus 6. And so the answer choice that matches y equals 5x plus 6 would be D. Alright, I'll do one more. I'll try to get 4 on the video. We're going to find the vertex and axis of symmetry of the graph of this function. Okay, so what we have is a quadratic, because we have x squared. And there were a couple of ways. If you had vertex form, you can just get it from the given, and then if we have what we call standard form, we have to use formulas. So the axis of symmetry is x equals negative b divided by 2 times a. Alright, so b in this case would be 10, and we're going to do negative 10 divided by 2a, and a is 1, so just 2, which would be 2 times 1, but just 2. So 10 divided by 2 will give us a negative 5. Now this is the axis of symmetry. It is also the x-coordinate of your vertex. So we have the vertex negative 5, and we need our y value. So there's a couple of ways you can get the y value. One is by plugging in this value. So we can just do f of negative 5, which will be negative 5 squared plus 10 times negative 5. This is one way. This is the old traditional way. Now in class, I think I showed you another way. There was a formula, and it's a part of the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So if you remember that other part was part of this. I think it is 4ac minus b squared over 4a to find the y coordinate. And I will test it out. I will check to make sure these are equal. This is something new that I've learned this actual semester, and I want to make sure I try to remember it. I think this is what I remember, minus over 4a. So we're going to check this out. So if we solve this will give us 25, negative 50. So we have 25 minus 50, and that will give us a negative 25. Okay, so this is what we're saying, negative 25. In this case, it was really simple just to plug in. Sometimes, though, you might have fractions and decimals, and it'll be easier to do this, especially if this was coming out to some fractions. So if we plug in a, which is 1, c, which will be 0, this first term will 0 out. So we do 4 times 1 times 0, which will 0 out, minus b squared. B squared is negative 5. No, b squared, I'm sorry. B was 10, so we would do 10 squared. Not negative, it's positive 10. That's what b was. So we would do negative 100 on the top. Negative 100. And then on the bottom was 4a, and a was 1, so just 4 times 1. So basically, if we do negative 100 divided by 4, that does in fact give us negative 25. So yes, this is a formula that you can use to get the y coordinate. So either you can plug it in, or you can use this formula. But here is our axis of symmetry and our vertex. So x equals negative 5, and then we have the order pair negative 5 and negative 25. So answer choice A would be the best.